You can't even get a bagel at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well,
Oh, sorry, we don't have any. And that's not even the Indian location. That's the Brampton location.
Yeah, we're gonna take it up a few notches right now. See if y'all can keep up.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 38 of the ScruffCast. I'm Dan.
and I'm John.
John, did you know yesterday, Sunday, September 30th, was International Podcast Day?
Really?
Yeah.
They got
That's
days
it.
for everything.
They
Even
got days for everything.
Even the lonely old podcast gets its own day.
That's right. You know where I hear about all these? You know CHFI, that radio channel?
Yeah.
It's first off the worst. It's the worst radio station ever, but it's like 17,000 days. International this day, International Couch Cushion Day. You know? International Candlestick Day. Like, it's ridiculous.
I always hear, like, usually on Twitter, it's like International Croissant Day.
Yeah.
And, like, the days repeat, though, because I remember one time it was like International Dog Day or something. And I clicked a tweet, and it was like, oh.
From 3 weeks ago.
It showed me, like, on the same day, previous year,
yeah,
it was International Dog Day as well, because I had tweeted about it. So maybe I'm contributing to this madness.
Yeah, you shouldn't. We're not even going to tweet about International Podcast Day off our podcast Twitter.
No, but if you want to celebrate International Podcast Day, you can do so by following us on Twitter at ScruffCast.
Listening on YouTube.
Yes.
ScruffCast. Send us a like. Send us a comment.
Yeah, hit it up.
And speaking of comments, actually, no. Sorry, we got to do a question.
We're jumping all over the place. We're a little sluggish today, listeners. You should know we just had a grueling fantasy hockey draft that we had to go through.
That's right. Before we had to do this, and also we'll try to keep this a little shorter this week.
You listeners been getting
because you know what? Yeah, we've been doing like an hour. I didn't sign up for this.
No, we were 45 minutes.
We said at the beginning of this we'll do 45. We'll do 45 minutes. That's more than enough.
And don't you remember we used to do like 40 minutes and 5 minutes of filler self-promo at the end?
Yeah.
We just gave that up and started giving the listener an extra 20 minutes out of nowhere.
No way. You're going back. We're going back to 45 today.
And if you got a problem with that, email us, scruffcast@gmail.com.
If we run over, we may just like edit it. Boom! Chop it right to 45. and you guys get nothing. No question to ponder next week. No jabroni. No hero of the week.
That's it.
Cutting
it out. Be like, oh my... And then it'll be just silence you.
That's
sitting there on the bus. All right. By the way, today is World Farm Animals Day.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
According to daysoftheyear.com. Oh my God. Tomorrow is Name Your Card Day.
Fuck. All right.
Okay.
Let's move on. I don't want to even talk about that anymore. Move on to the question to ponder. All right. So for anyone... What?
But coming up this Wednesday is Boyfriend's Day.
I'm not a boyfriend anymore. I'm a fiancé.
Yeah, but you could still spin it that way. Get a little pampered.
I suppose
so. My girlfriend
Wednesday?
out there is listening to this. Buy me some gifts.
Yeah, it's leave me alone and let me watch the Leaf game. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's first day of the hockey season.
That's right.
Anyways, we're getting a little off topic here.
So, question to ponder from last week. For anyone who's forgotten, if you could breed a hybrid animal of any two species, what two would you choose? John?
I would choose a betta fish because I want its size. Maybe I could pick a lizard or something because I just want the size. And like a chimpanzee because I want like a little miniature monkey that can live in like a little tank.
So you want to own
on
this
my desk
pet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I could have picked something like sinister.
Is it aquatic?
No. Okay, maybe not a lizard. Maybe like maybe not a betta fish. Just I was picturing like betta fish and living in a tank or whatever. I just want something small and then crossbreed it with a chimpanzee. I don't know how that would work, but I just want a small chimpanzee that can live in a little tank on my desk or something.
Fair enough.
Oh, that'd be cool. It'd be a desk chimpanzee. That's what I call it.
Oh.
Well, what's yours, Dan?
It's a bear and a lion. Isn't that the combination everybody wants to see?
I suppose. Would it just be like a bear with like the mane of a lion on it?
I don't know. I haven't really put too much thought into it. But it's just two powerful animals. King of the jungle, king of the north forests, you know? Or
King of the North Forests. The bear lion.
That's the article we have later from the telegraph.co.uk.
That's UK. Yes.
Yes, that's
All right,
orange
good
juice.
choice.
Thank you.
Right, the listeners, they didn't write in this week with any answers to the questions to ponder, but we did have a nice, thoughtful comment on YouTube. The listeners finally embracing the YouTube comment section, leaving us only nice comments and giving us a thumbs up. Good job. All right. On the last episode, Lifting the Ban was titled, we had a listener write to us. Hi, Dan and John. Funny that you guys brought up the U.S. going to the moon this week on the podcast. We were discussing this at home the other night, and we were saying that if they actually did make it to the moon back in the 60s and 70s, with how far technology has come in the last 50 years, shouldn't humans be exploring Mars, maybe even Jupiter by now? I'm interested in hearing what you guys think about it. Do you think the U.S. actually made it to the moon? If you remember the documentary that was on TV years ago about the first landing on the moon, a lot of signs were pointing to the fact it was all a hoax. I can't help but think that maybe it was. How have we not made it back since? And all the failed attempts to get there over the more recent years leads me to believe that there's more to this than meets the eye. Anyway, keep up the good work, boys. I enjoy listening every week. Signed, your loyal and maybe only YouTube listener.
For your information, we have 8 listeners on YouTube.
Yeah, and we've got 10 subscribers. So
10?
And I'm only 1 or 2 of them. So
multiple.
That accounts for why there's
I'm
only
not
8.
one, so there we go. I don't think I have a YouTube account.
Well, you have the ScruffCast one, kind of.
True, I do.
All right. So this is a thoughtful comment. So
we're getting into the conspiracies a little bit right here.
So what's your take on this, Dean?
This is almost kind of two-parted, no?
Yeah. So
what should be like? It's kind of like about the technology and why are we not? Shouldn't we be exploring even further by now?
Well, I guess okay. So first thing to tackle is, do you believe that they went to the moon, or are you on the side that it was made up?
I'm on the side that it was made up.
What?
Yeah. I think they made it there eventually, but not. What was it? 1967?
1969.
69. No, I don't think they did. No, I think they did make it there eventually, but not then.
So why would they have faked it then?
To make the Russians believe that they were, more technically or technology superior.
So there's no way that they didn't make it to the moon. I know it when you go outside.
How do you know?
When you go outside and you look up at the moon.
Way.
Dude, have you seen how big the Saturn V rockets they used are? When that launched up, where did it go? If they're just faking it.
I don't know. That's the whole thing about the conspiracy theory, John, is you just believe it. You don't have to actually have good evidence.
They actually have ways of proving it because when they landed on the moon, they left these little reflective mirrors, and you can, well, not you as in the layperson, but if you have specialized lab equipment. No, you can actually fire off a laser beam, of light.
No,
and
way.
It will hit, the precise locations, and it will hit the mirrors and reflect back. By the time it reflects back, the light's too weak to visibly see, but you can read it using lab equipment.
Right.
And I know this because on an episode of The Big Bang Theory, that's what they did in the intro.
Well, maybe it was actually a couple years later when they actually landed there, they put those on. Did you ever think about that?
No, because that sounds ridiculous. Now, I will say, when you go outside and you look up at the moon, it's pretty far out there, and you think wow, I can't believe they landed people on the moon. It's insane.
Yeah.
But they did.
No, I do believe they did. I did.
Hey, you're free to believe whatever you want to believe.
You're damn right I am.
We're two halves of the ScruffCast. If
That's
one half
right.
wants to not believe and one half wants to be correct and believe, okay.
Now the technology.
So why haven't we gone back? I think precisely because of what you were mentioning earlier about the Russians. Because back in the 60s, there was a whole Cold War going on, right? And the U.S. was like, hey, we're going to beat Russia to the moon.
Yeah.
Right? So they had this sort of national
space race.
Yeah, the space race. It's national pride. We're going to beat them there. But Russia beat the U.S. to first spacecraft to orbit, first person to actually do an EVA, where a spacewalk outside of a spaceship.
Yeah.
First animal in space, first people to land like a rover on the moon, like beat
that.
the U.S. to everything except land a person on the moon, which the U.S. did.
Or did they?
Well, I'll say they did.
Okay.
It's up to the listeners for their own interpretation.
That's right.
But after that, they did it, and the Russians were like, and that was it. So then the U.S. is like, oh, we beat them. Didn't have to go back. And then one of the big reasons is because, like, I love space. I read about this stuff all the time. Is NASA's budget back in those days, like during the Apollo program, used to be massive. It was like 4.5% to 5% of the national budget,
Which is huge.
And
now it's down to like what, 0.5 or something?
0.5,
like that?
half a penny for every tax dollar goes to NASA.
Yeah, which is still a pile of money, but
Not enough.
no.
If I was a U.S. taxpayer, I'd be like, we got to bump that up. Those are rookie numbers. I want to get to 1 penny. Then boom, instantly double. You can pull the funding from something they don't need.
Some welfare programs.
Some welfare program.
Take it from the kids, the children, you know?
Yeah, get out, old crackhead boo-boos. There you go.
Yeah. No, but like I get the point that the listener is trying to make, right? You figure by now, we made it there in the late 60s. You figure by now we would be much further. Yeah. We would have, in the 70s we would have made it to Mars. You know what I mean? In the 80s we would have made it whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I do understand like the distance, and like the distance is, what is it, like 8 or 9 months to travel to Mars?
Yeah, it's like millions of miles away. Where the moon is like 380,000 kilometers, which is far. But like if you could travel the speed of light, it'd take you a second and a half. So there's like just a tiny delay if you were like using the internet or on the moon.
Yeah.
But at Mars, like 20 minutes.
At
so
the
it's
speed
like,
of light, Jesus Christ.
So it is quite a bit further. So I think it's just the funding. The funding, there's no real reason to fund it at like such a level like they did back in the 60s. Because there's no real reason to go. Well, there's,
it's just exploration.
You should think, the exploration, humankind exploring the cosmos. Like there's something, Oh,
I'm on board. My microphone right now is sitting
spiritual about it.
Is sitting on a book, Star Talk,
by Neil deGrasse Tyson. And if you told him he didn't believe they went to the moon, he would be shaking his head.
Well, homie can shake his head all he wants.
Be like, I don't know about that one, Daniel. Shaking my head.
No, but like the most sad part of it all, because I like space too. I find it all very interesting. And the saddest part is, like, in our lifetime, in our children's lifetime, like, there'll never be anything. Like, we'll never go anywhere. We may get to Mars. We may see that.
I really hope they'll get somebody there. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
SpaceX put somebody there.
Like
maybe NASA.
We probably will get there, right? But like, we'll never. You know what I mean? We'll never figure out what dark matter is. We'll never be able to travel the speed of light. We'll never do any of these things in our lifetime.
Like, these things are so far away.
Exactly, and that's kind of sad. Like,
right?
That's a little sad.
It is. I mean, we were born after, they put people on the moon, so we didn't get to experience that in real time. But I can imagine how exciting it would be, people landing on Mars.
Yeah.
Imagine by then you put on, like, a VR helmet and, actually, like, experience would be like to have all these 3D cameras and stuff.
That is true.
It'd be very interesting.
Yeah, because you can watch it. Like, before you watch it on TV, now, the guy can have a 360 camera taped to his head.
Little black and white.
And you're there. You're on
TV.
Mars with him. Doesn't have to even go.
Exactly. Who needs to be an astronaut these days,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bummy now.
Man, we really brought this down. Thanks, listener. Oh.
Yeah, way to go, listener.
No, Anna's here, but she just
Special
shook her
podcast
head, said
guest?
no.
Oh, nope. She's shaking her head now. She's just like, get back to your stupid podcast. All right, if you say so. Okay.
All right.
Now, before we can get into the articles, I got a gripe.
What is it?
Today is October 1st. Today we're recording the podcast. Podcast will go up October 3rd. My gripe is, it's just the beginning of October, and they're already putting out the stuff for Christmas. It's too goddamn early.
And you know what the rules should be? Remembrance Day. After Remembrance Day, you can do whatever you want. I understand Remembrance Day is not a holiday.
Yeah.
But we should also just, just wait till then. Halloween's over. You give the Army veterans 11 solid days, you know what I mean, of thinking about. After that, then you can go to Christmas.
Yeah, I could see that, because I almost think like, oh, well, what about November 1st? But then it's like, do you really need 2 whole months? And I'm like, maybe, because I got this gripe, but like, I love Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, listeners, like, I just love it. It's just like magical. It's the best. But it's too early. I was at the mall yesterday, and at the dollar store inside the mall, an entire aisle filled with Christmas stuff already.
Yeah, that's too early.
That's too much. That's too much.
Halloween stuff should be out right now.
Oh, there is Halloween stuff out as well. But
No, I know,
but
but
see
like,
it because there's so much goddamn
the Halloween
Christmas stuff out
stuff
there.
should just be starting now, which probably started 4 months ago.
But like,
Probably started before Easter.
is it just me or is it earlier this year? Because it's everywhere. I saw it at the Bay. I saw it at the dollar store.
It seems like it's
I saw it at Costco. Everywhere. And I'm like, what? Where does this come from? It barely even hit like, between 10 and 20 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
And it's already Christmas stuff.
You know what? Before you know it, it's going to be like December 26th. They're going to have the next year's Christmas stuff already out.
Well, like, I wouldn't be surprised.
And then taken off the shelves by March.
Yeah, you go next week and then it's Valentine's Day already.
Yeah, seriously. No, that stuff, it starts way too early.
Yeah. I haven't even really gotten to the Halloween swing of things yet.
I'm not ready. Yeah, Halloween, I'm not even thinking about.
I'm not a really big Halloween fan.
I got a rule about Christmas movies, too.
What's your rule?
You can't watch a Christmas movie. December 1st is more ideal for me. I like December 1st, that's a good day. But I'll stretch it to Christmas Parade, Toronto Christmas Parade.
When do they do that? Mid-November?
It's like the 18th, 19th-ish and around there.
Oh, by the time you hit like 18th, 19th of November, it's Christmas time. Like, let's go. I'm ready. If there's light dusting of snow outside, it's Christmas. But not in October.
Yeah, you're really into it. You have like 15 Christmas sweaters. You got it all.
I love Christmas.
I like Christmas. It's good, but I don't think I like it as much as you.
Because I don't just like Christmas. I love Christmas.
You love Christmas.
Yes.
Fair enough.
If the ScruffCast turned into a podcast, or it already is a podcast. If it turned into a holiday, it'd be Christmas because that's how magical the ScruffCast is. Listeners, don't you agree? ScruffCast.com.
All right.
All right.
Moving right along here.
Moving right along. I kind of like bringing up just random gripes on the podcast.
Me too.
Gripe
Maybe
of the week.
people agree.
We don't
Maybe
have
one
that
day
many
we'll
gripes.
just talk. I think we could comfortably do a podcast without any articles.
Oh, we definitely could. I just wonder if the
talk to each other.
listeners would want
Nobody
to listen.
want to listen to it. Just us
Yeah.
two having a conversation. But
All right. On to the articles. We know that's why the listeners come to the podcast. They want to know what's
the
going
juicy news.
The juicy news. What's going on in the world, and where can I get informed opinions about it? Well,
About
not
nonsense.
informed here, but you get opinions nonetheless.
Yeah.
First article comes to us from dailymail.co.uk. Law student 20 pours water mixed with bleach onto men's groins on the Russian metro to stop them from manspreading. Listeners, you may remember we talked about manspreading maybe 20 episodes or so ago.
The global phenomenon taking over the world.
Once again, the ScruffCast was ahead of the curve. We told you about the dangers of manspreading long ago. And if you didn't shape up and listen, boom, you just got bleachy nuts.
You got bleachy nuts.
They are bleachy nuts. All right. A female law student has been splashing water mixed with bleach onto men's groins on underground trains in order to tackle manspreading. Anna Dovgalyuk, 20, from Russia.
Not as good with the Russian as you are with the Asian. Asian words.
Dovgalyuk, 20, from Russia, accuses men of gender aggression and that her country is slow to counter the problem. The social activist has been targeting males sitting with their legs spread wide on public transport in St. Petersburg, Russia. The feminist tackled the disgusting act, in quotes here, by splashing a mix of 30 liters of water and 6 liters of bleach into the groin areas of men she deemed to be sitting in an offensive manner. Miss Dovgalyuk said, "The solution is 30 times more concentrated than the mixture used by housewives when doing the laundry. It eats colors in the fabric in a matter of minutes, leaving indelible stains." Oh, geez. This woman knows her chemicals.
What's wrong with this lady?
The activist complains that manspreading is being, in quotes here, fought around the world, but hushed up here.
Oh, my God.
But Miss Dovgalyuk was silent about the alleged manspreading prowess of a notable former graduate of her own law faculty, Vladimir Putin,
Oh.
the Russian president. Ex-U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton last year upbraided the Kremlin leader, explaining, "There's an expression, we certainly know it in New York, called manspreading." Ugh, as if I needed another reason to not like Hillary Clinton. Every time I met with him, it would be, she gestured to show her legs spread apart. The whole deal. She claimed her video was dedicated to all men for whom manspreading is the norm. So everyone can immediately understand which body part controls the behavior of these men. This one's not even making sense. This article is just a disaster. Showing some of her alleged hits on metro trains, Miss Dovgolyuk said, "We not only cooled the manspreading down, but also marked them with identification spots." The student claimed to be acting on behalf of everyone who has to endure the manifestations of you declaring your macho qualities on public transportation.
Or maybe just sitting comfortably.
Yeah, we've
You
talked
dumb
about
bitch,
this before.
you ever think of that?
Like, it can't get too squishy down there,
My dear God. Everything with these feminists. Like, you know what I mean? Do they not have fathers and brothers? You know what I mean? That they love and care about? Because it sure doesn't seem like it. They're all a bunch of goddamn psychos. Like, these aren't feminists. This isn't what feminism is.
This
is a goddamn psychopath. Like,
This is like chemical attacks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine she gets a little on someone's face. Like, she is going to jail for the rest of her life. Maybe. I'm not sure what the rules are. And in Russia, you could probably do that
In
with
Russia,
no problem.
you don't go to jail. You just go.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah,
That's it. You just
like,
go.
oh, where'd she go? And it's like, where'd who go? They're just gone. They don't exist.
Like, I think we talked about this before, but like sitting down as a man, as we've said before, we got some things that dangle between our legs. You know what I mean? Needs a little space. I understand, and we can like close our legs for the most part.
I'm
like,
not a
we
gymnast doing the splits on the metro
No,
over here.
give me a break.
I'm just,
And like, what's nuts too is like
Sitting comfortably.
there's some pictures and stuff like that of her pouring this water and bleach on guys, and there's literally no one sitting even close to this guy on this train. He's sitting there by himself. Why isn't he allowed to do that? And guess what? Old fatty across from him has her goddamn legs spread open too. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe because she can't close them because there's so much fat. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't see her pouring it on an old fatty woman over there. But yeah, this woman is just out of her mind here. Because it goes on to talk more about her like social experiments and stuff, I guess. She previously achieved worldwide attention, I'd never heard of this, by flashing her underwear to commuters to raise awareness for upskirting. Which makes no sense. I don't know. I guess she had qualms about some sort of upskirting in Russia or something. Let's read here. Calling herself a social activist. Oosh. Miss Dovgolyuk has previously achieved worldwide attention by flashing her underwear to commuters to raise awareness for upskirting laws in Russia. Critics asked how she was helping counter the menace of upskirting by flashing her undies. She said, "I am a social activist who advocates for women's rights and against discrimination in any form." Doesn't even answer the question.
That doesn't...
I think this woman just thrives on attention. So a Russian news outlet claimed her video was a sham and she had used actors, but the campaigning student flatly denies this. She said, "My action is absolutely real," she said, denying it was linked to an organization specializing in online stunts. She admitted that no commuters had sued her so far. She said, "I don't think people are going to go to the police to file a report about jeans."
I would.
Well, if this is powerful enough to stain the jeans, what if it seeps through and you got some stained nuts?
Next thing you know,
Never find love again?
You can't have kids or something like that. Like God, like I don't know, like that. That's probably pretty extreme, but God forbid that would happen.
That's
something
just
like
what she wants. She doesn't want them to procreate any little man-spreaders running around.
Get your shit together. Is manspreading really the biggest issue on the goddamn planet?
Apparently,
You bunch of losers. Like, if this woman poured this on me, oh my God, I'd make her drink that bottle. I'd be so upset. You psycho Russian.
Ay.
I'm just angry. I'm mad now. Let's move on. All
right.
Why'd you put that one in there?
It was newsworthy.
Let's get to some funny stuff now.
All right.
Some funny stuff.
TheGuardian.com. Man removed from Indian plane after trying to enter cockpit to charge phone.
Here we go.
Well, I know people are hooked on their phones these days. It's a little extreme. A man was removed from an Indigo flight from Mumbai to Calcutta and handed over to police, though later released. A little rhyme. A passenger has been taken off an Indian domestic flight after trying to enter the cockpit to charge his phone. The man, who some Indian media reports was intoxicated, tried to enter the cockpit while the plane prepared to take off for Calcutta from the western city of Mumbai. So the plane was just taken off.
That's probably like
They barely
the
got
worst
moving.
possible moment to do it, though.
While an Indigo aircraft was on the ground, an unruly passenger tried to enter the cockpit, stating that his mobile needs to be charged, a statement from the airline said. He was removed from the aircraft, handed over to the police on grounds of a security violation, Indigo said. Police questioned the man but released him soon after. It is the second such incident this week. Oh, man. On Monday, a passenger aboard a flight from Delhi to the Bihar state capital, Patna, was spotted trying to open the rear door of the aircraft while it was in midair. Another passenger raised the alarm and the man was stopped by the crew and handed over to police in Patna. The falling price of airfares and growing incomes in India have led to a boom in domestic flights. More than 91.3 million domestic tickets were issued this year to August, an increase of more... this year to August, an increase of more than 21% during the same period of 2017. This is that little trick they like to do to make articles out of nothing, where they're like, oh, check out what this guy did. By the way, look at the booming industry.
Cheap airfares in India.
Yeah,
come fly. Air Indigo.
Because, like, they just did this last week. Remember the one about the person shooting the T-shirt cannon into their own nuts?
Yeah,
they're like,
and it was like really nothing.
Similar incidents in 2017. It's like, this is a non-article.
So that's really it.
Who wrote this one? This person's going on my list. Michael Safi in Delhi.
Oh, Michael Safi. Your
Safi?
name's
No.
not Michael.
Oh, look, and now the article gets to reports of sexual harassment of attendants and other passengers have also been more common.
How does it get
That's with
there?
the FBI, though the problem's not uniquely Indian. This guy's just throwing random facts
This is just nonsense.
totally unrelated stuff.
Put in these things. Okay, so the point of the story is the guy drunkenly tried to charge his phone.
Yeah,
That's funny. That's I guess that's pretty funny.
I mean, yeah, you
Stupid
can't really complain. A Qatar Airways flight made an emergency. This is a funny little clip here. An emergency landing in the South Indian city of Chennai last year after a woman used her sleeping husband's thumb to unlock his phone. So he fell asleep, and she used his hand to unlock his iPhone.
Yeah.
To look through his phone, and then discover he was like talking to another woman. And then I guess I don't know.
Reportedly began attacking her husband, and cabin crew were unable to restore order, forcing the emergency stop. Oh boy. No wonder flights are so cheap.
I know.
Just craziness, sexual assaults, beatings by wives.
Back in the day, you could just sit there, drink a scotch, and smoke on the plane, and nobody complained.
And slap a flight attendant's ass. The good old days. Could be man-spreading all over that plane if I wanted to.
Well, they had the extra large seats, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nowadays, you want a man spread, you got to go first class.
Yeah, there's no man-spreading on a plane.
Would you like to upgrade to our man spread package? Oh, why, certainly.
There's blonde Russian women pouring bleach on your nuts.
Ay. Alrighty. On to the next article from FoxNews.com. Tennessee inmate escaped prison, then attempted to sneak back in with contraband, indictment says. Oh boy, listeners, you gotta see the haircut on this guy. A Tennessee inmate found escaping prison was the easy part. Getting back in proved much more difficult. Robert Fusco, who was already serving a 68-year sentence for especially aggravated kidnapping.
What?
Jeez.
What is that?
What? It sounds like It sounds like the judge had to make up this.
He made up a new
crime.
Yeah,
because like he was so mad at this guy during the sentencing. He's
this
like,
is aggravated.
This is
kidnapping,
especially aggravated.
Especially aggravated.
Like I don't know. I'm having my doubts that that's a real crime.
Yep.
Especially aggravated kidnapping, pleaded not guilty Tuesday to accusations he escaped prison only to attempt to sneak back in days later with a cache of contraband. Fusco, 37, escaped from the Morgan County Correctional Complex, a minimum security facility, on January 5th. Was captured 2 days later trying to smuggle drugs, cell phones, and tobacco into the prison, the Knoxville News Sentinel reported. He was reportedly trying to sneak in the illicit items to sell on the prison's black market, the newspaper reported. Neither the state's Department of Correction nor prosecutors have revealed how Fusco escaped the prison. That would be my first order of business.
Yeah.
Fusco was among 8 people, including 2 former correctional officers, indicted earlier this month as part of a contraband scheme. Among those also charged was Fusco's former cellmate, 30-year-old Jarrett Tolley. That sounds like a criminal.
Yeah.
Who is accused of smuggling hacksaw blades into the prison. He now identifies as a woman and lives under the name Alyssa Tolley, the newspaper reported. He's just trying to escape. It's one thing
Sorry,
to
get put
like.
into one of those women jails instead.
It's one thing to escape paying your car insurance premium by flipping the gender, but he's just like, that wasn't me. That was that wasn't me. That was Jared.
That was
I'm
Jared.
Alyssa.
I'm Alyssa now.
All right. William Richard, 68, Cecil Kendall, 35, and Ethan Self, 26. All inmates at the Morgan County Correction Complex were charged with aiding Fusco in the contraband scheme. All 4 inmates made brief appearances during an arraignment Tuesday. Josh Sexton, there's too many names going on in this article.
Yeah.
34, who served as a past president of the local correctional officers union, is accused of attempting to smuggle unspecified contraband into the prison by hiding the items, and this is in quotes here, under his groin. The old little tape to the back of the bag there. According to the Sentinel, citing the indictment paperwork, 29-year-old ex-correctional officer Megan Cheryl Jones, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of names in this article, was charged with having sexual contact with Fusco and also smuggling cell phones into the prison. Ooh. So he escaped prison, got the goods,
And then went back.
and then snuck back in.
But why wouldn't he just stay out?
I don't know, maybe.
If you can escape prison, like, by all accounts, it's a pretty hard thing to do.
Oh,
It took like 3 seasons in Prison Break for them to finally get out.
I would be following Jared's lead, becoming, I would go from Robert to Roberta, and just see ya.
Yep.
Move to Albuquerque.
That ain't me.
Move to Albuquerque, you never see me again.
Yeah.
I'm Roberta. Oh, Robert, I don't know about no Robert.
Because even the police aren't looking for you in Albuquerque.
No,
one
Albuquerque?
wants to go there.
You just wear tan and lay on the floor, and they'll never find you. Like, there's nothing out there. Like, New Mexico. They don't have any sports teams. They got nothing.
They probably have, like, very, very, very amateur teams.
I remember in an episode of The Simpsons, the Springfield Isotopes, the baseball team,
Yeah.
were moving to Albuquerque.
That's
They became the
that's as
Albuquerque
close as they
Isotopes.
got to a sports team.
Yeah. And look at
What's
The
The
Simpsons
Simpsons?
now. Nobody cares.
What a moron.
I know, like, what sort of, like, price are you fetching on the black market in prison?
They'd want to go back.
Yeah. Like, are they paying, like, with cash? No.
And, like,
Cigarettes or something?
I could see if he had, like, 2 years on his sentence, and he's like, okay, I'm going to quickly get out and get back in. I only got 2 years. I don't want to get caught out there and then get 50 years.
Yeah.
He was already serving 68. You might as well leave. What are they going to give you, more years? You're going to be dead anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, they're not gonna
68
give
years
you-
he's going to be dead.
They're not going to give you the death penalty because they probably already would have.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You're
So,
just
and
escaping
even-
prison isn't
Even
worth
then,
the death penalty.
you
just
get, like, plenty of years left anyway.
just stay out, man.
These people making no goddamn sense.
No.
All right, speaking of people making no sense, we're going back to India for the next story. So our beloved coffee chain here in Canada, Tim Hortons, they have a copycat problem over in India. So from CP24.com. Tim Hortons seeks to shut down copycat Tim Hortons store in India. There's a picture here of a sign, Tim Hortons.
It's like literally the exact same logo, exact same font.
It honestly looks like they took the logo and photoshopped it.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons, located in Yamanugar, India. Oh my God, I don't know what accent that was. Yamanugar, India, is seen in this undated handout photo. What does that even mean? Tim Hortons will seek to shut down an apparent knockoff restaurant in India that uses a name and branding very similar to the coffee and donut chain. Tim Hortons, located in Yamanagar, India, is 2 letters away from the coffee chain in its name. What sort of article is this? I'm tired of these crappy articles.
Maybe we should just shut this podcast down today.
Well, that was just the caption under the photo.
Maybe we should have
the
skipped
article
this week. Maybe we should have.
The listeners, they gotta get it, even if it sucks. They still gotta get the podcast. Maybe we'll be the jabronis. All right. I'm just looking at the article, and so the picture with the caption that was like a paragraph long.
Are we at 45 minutes yet?
No,
Oh,
we're
man.
not.
Oh, man.
The first paragraph of the article is just the same paragraph again. So I'm like, where do I even go? Okay. Its logo and branding appear to mimic the Canadian chains as well. The font and color of the name in its logo is nearly identical. Tim Hortons also uses the phrase always fresh and cafe and bake shop, as well as the red hued striped background in its logo. Wow, these people got to be tired of writing these articles that are just junk. And yet somehow they still made it to the podcast.
Because we don't read them
We don't-
beforehand. That's
but
the
I don't
problem.
read them so that I can learn along with the listeners. Okay.
Sometimes this happens. We usually don't get 4 articles in one podcast that are like this, but
Sometimes that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So we do have a quote here, though, from Jane Almeida, a spokeswoman for Restaurant Brands International, the parent company of Tim Hortons. She said, "Well, we believe that imitation is often the sincerest form of flattery. We do have very high standards when it comes to our brand, the quality of our products, and the services we provide our guests."
full of shit. You can't even get a bagel at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well,
Oh, sorry, we don't have any. And that's not even the Indian location. That's the Brampton location. Or any goddamn location tomorrow.
and like you see the bagels behind them. You're like, what are those?
Yeah.
Oh, those are donuts.
What are those? I got a funny Tim Hortons story, actually, that I just heard today.
Go for it. We're on the podcast.
A friend of the podcast.
All right.
I will call him that. Told me this story. So he went to Tim Hortons last night and asked for one of like the bagel sandwiches, right? That comes with like the egg and the bacon and everything.
Yeah.
And so he gets his bagel and he pulls like, he's just in his car, so he pulls off to the parking lot, opens up his bagel, and takes a bite, and it's just a bagel and bacon. Nothing else. And the bagel's like completely burnt. And he's like, what the hell, right? So he takes a bite. He's like, I mean, it's a bacon sandwich. It's still pretty good. Takes another bite. He's like, no, you know what? Screw this. I'm getting my money back. I'm getting an actual sandwich.
Yeah.
So he rolls back up. He's like, listen, I bought this thing. It was supposed to be the sandwich with the egg and stuff like that, and the bacon. Can I get another one? She's like, okay, well, what do you want? He's like, okay, like, can I get the one with sausage? Or he said, can I get the one with the bacon? Like, oh, well, we have no more bacon. He's like, okay, can I get the one with the sausage? She's like, oh, well, we have no more sausage. She's like, well, like, what do you have? She's like, oh, well, we have ham. And he's like, what? Like, I don't want the ham. He's like, you know what? Just, I want my money back for the sandwich. So she goes into the cash register, pulls out a toonie and gives it to him. And he's thinking like, I know I paid more than a toonie for this. So he goes for it, he's like, give me another toonie. And so she gives him the toonie and he drives off. And he's thinking to himself like, did I just rob them? Like a little bit,
A little bit,
yeah, he's
actually.
like, give me another toonie. He just like walked up, right? Like, give me another one.
Getting a little aggressive.
Yeah.
Did he get to keep the burnt bacon bagel?
No, that was another part of the story. Is like she took it, and as she was telling him there was nothing left, she was crumpling up his bag with the bagel in it, crumpling it up in her hand.
So he couldn't
even eat that.
Well, I could have at least let him keep it.
I know. It's just that's all. That story was already better than this article.
Yeah. Well, according to the article, reviewers on Facebook called the food at this Tim Hortons location delicious and the coffee best ... I ever had, leaving it an average score of 4.6 stars. Damn, Tim Hortons, the place to be.
Not bad.
All right. Oh, apparently a very similar duplicate store was opening up in South Korea in 2015. A Canadian posted a photo. This is just a garbage article. This has been a rough ass podcast.
Yeah, this was.
Of Tim House Cafe. That's what they were calling the one in South Korea.
All right, let's. That's enough.
Oh, but
okay.
Dan, they do the same thing in this article where they bring up the non-related things.
Are they bringing up sexual assaults again? Because that seems to be
No,
the going
but
thing these days. Not years.
In 2012, luxury winter jacket maker Canada Goose Holdings Incorporated won a counterfeit case in Sweden after 5 Swedes sold thousands of counterfeit Canada Goose jackets and other luxury products for several years. What does that have to do with Tim Hortons? Why did they put that in there?
I don't know.
Why am I even reading it to the list? Like,
all right, that's it.
we really got to crack down on these garbage articles.
Yeah. We'll start reading these. We'll start skimming through them. I'm not going to say we're going to read them, but we'll skim through them.
We need to have one of us skim because
I'll be the skimmer.
I like to learn along with the listeners, right? Usually if it's like a spicy article.
Yeah.
But like sometimes we just get these stinkers. Don't blame us. Blame CP24.
That was 3 stinkers, and the other one was enraging.
Yeah. Thank God the listener had left us a good comment on YouTube. Otherwise, you guys would have
held
had
it
3
together.
stinkers and would have been...
Oh, Jesus. All right, let's get to the hero and jabronis of the week. John, start us off with the jabronis.
I almost feel like it's us.
I agree.
We didn't bring it. We didn't bring it this week.
There we go. Sometimes you're the hero, sometimes you're the jabroni, and today we are the jabronis of the week. John, your hero of the week. There's not many to choose from.
There's not many to choose from.
Let's hear what you got.
All right, my hero of the week might be Man, there's really not much to choose from. Is it the listener who wrote us the comment?
Yeah,
Or is it the man who charged his phone?
Or is it the guy who transitioned into a woman in the prison?
Oh, you
which
know
really
what?
had nothing to do with that story, but
You know what? That might be the person. That might be the hero.
okay, you could take that. I'll take the listener for trying at least to get this podcast going in the right direction. What's frustrating is we thought we were going to come into this like guns a blazing.
I was feeling
Like,
good.
this is going to be a great podcast.
I looked
feeling
at our
real good.
I looked at our podcast notes, all right, with the articles and everything leading into the podcast, and was like, we got a good one. And I even was like fired up on my listener or my question to ponder answers, like, oh yeah, little like fish-sized chimpanzees can be awesome.
All
You didn't even
downhill
like-
from there.
You didn't even like it that much.
So
That's what I should have
far
known.
downhill.
That's what I should have known. So
Luckily,
if anybody's still out there,
luckily we have one redeeming thing about this podcast, and that is the question to ponder for next week.
yes,
This one is pretty good, and we should get lots of emails about this one because I'm sure there's lots of words people don't like, And I should probably read the question before I even start talking about it because people don't know what I'm talking about. So I'll read the question for the question to ponder for next week. If you could remove one word from the English language, what would it be?
ooh,
So this one, like I said, should get lots of emails in.
it should.
You don't
And
even
if-
have to give an explanation. Just write the word. Send an email. Put it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Thumb
Yes.
up. You know what it is. You know what we say.
Tell
Just
your
do
friends. ScruffCast@gmail.com. Did this podcast suck?
It. Yeah.
Email
it
us and let us know.
did. I'm sure it did.
So then we'll have more content for next week and we can read about how it sucked for 10 minutes.
And you know what? Whatever you do, though, when you tell your friends, don't tell them about episode 38.
Tell them to start like episode 17. We hit our stride round then.
Tell them to skip 38 and go right to 39, because hopefully it's a little better than this one.
That's triple a baker's dozen, 38.
All right. Anyway.
Or sorry, I meant 39. Oh, Jesus.
Okay, all right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Again, our apologies for this poor performance on the ScruffCast.
Hey, even Wayne Gretzky hit the post sometimes.
Sometimes he missed the net. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next week.
As I'm watching her go, all I'm thinking is, oh damn that bad thing. I can tell you're really good at distracting.
We'll tape to the back of the bag there.